Boom, second take. Here we go. Hey, let me tell you. Do you see the Deep Surface shirt right here? I'm going to introduce my guest in a minute, but I just want to tell this story real quick. This is the second time that I'm telling the story, so hopefully I can tell it right this time. But this is a special day for me, and I'll tell you why, man. I feel like things are coming into alignment for me, and I'll tell you a quick story real quick. So about a month ago, the podcast that you guys are going to watch, tomorrow, which you will see this, it will already tomorrow will always be next week. So by the time you see this, you already seen that podcast, but the one with me and my brother. So we shot it. Like a month ago. And Jog, listen, I was still deep down in my depression, didn't want to talk to nobody, was still feeling sorry for myself. Why is life going this way? Yada, 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 yada. Somebody please help me. But I just kept trying to get up. And my brother, because I was so down in a dark place, he was like, I'm going to come up there and visit you. And I was like, all right. So he ended up saying, okay, Steve, I'm going to come. And my nephew was coming with him too as well. So I'm glad we're telling the story twice because I added Kiwi in the story. So they came up here about a month ago. And, you know, I was texting during this time frame. I wasn't shooting the podcast for about 8 months when things were going on. You know, I would text Tim periodically and say, hey, Tim, do you want to do a podcast or something like that? Or I'll just text him something. And he wouldn't say nothing because he knew I was capping. He knew I wasn't serious. So when my brother came up here, I was hesitating a little bit. I was like, man, I really want to do this. I think this would be special. I think it'll get me out of doing something. Because when I came up here, my nephew had to go do something. And me and my brother was at the house just dialoguing all day. So I said, you know what? I am going to just do this. What can I lose? I'm already depressed. I might as well get back on the court. I might as well get my feet wet. You know, I didn't even think I was going to put it out or do anything. I just thought that, hey, I just want to do something. So we did the podcast, did the shoot, and that was that. So I went back to feeling sorry for myself, job, went back to my depression, and it was tough, touch and go. I didn't think I would even put this out. I looked at it one time. I barely even looked at it, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Seen a couple of parts I liked, but didn't even pay no mind. So fast forward. So I do this podcast. I decide to come out of retirement. I decide to come back to the stage, and we just shot a podcast and started over. So I looked at the episode for the first time, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And it goes into line of what we do, family, fathers, husbands, you know what I mean? And that whole entire podcast talked about all of that. It was sort of a precursor to what the vision of the podcast is now, but I didn't even know it. I had no idea. I was just talking about what I wanted to be and who I wanted to embody, and it ended up becoming our mission statement and our value and what we're talking about now. So I said, I'm going to put it out. And for some reason, I didn't text Tim on Monday or Tuesday, and I was like, Tim, I texted him yesterday, can you make a flyer for this? And it's called The Podcast from Heaven because it was me and my brother on there. And backstory, everybody knows my father passed away when I was 7 years old. He passed away and he had me and my brother. And what people don't know is me and my brother was the manifestation of what he wanted. He wanted us to carry his vision on. But boy, when we was born and he died, we took this pathway. He took that. I took that pathway. So we were on totally separate ends of the spectrum, living life. So I do that podcast. After I do that podcast, I release everything from me. So now I'm thinking I can get back on the road. And then I go back and watch that podcast and say, I'm going to put it out. So I text him. He made me the thumbnail, and I looked at it. So here's the irony in all of this. We're going to put the podcast out on December the 7th. December the 7th is my oldest daughter's, Garen's, birthday. Her name is Garen because she's named after my father, Gary. And tomorrow, the podcast is dropping on her birthday while me and my brother, I named the podcast from heaven before I even knew that I was dropping it on her birthday. Look at the synergy in that. When you start to live right, man, when you start to live righteous, when you start to take accountability, when you start to stand in line as a man of God, a true man of God, I'm talking about really walking righteous. I'm talking about when nobody's looking, you're still doing the right thing. I'm talking about you're praying for people, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. and things start and fall in line. And here's the biggest irony of it all. So we came in tonight. I'm screaming at Tim because I'm excited because I got this newfound energy. I'm talking about because it's real, because I've been through it, man. I've had a deep surface experience. I've had a deep surface experience where I took the issues that was deep down inside of it, I brought them to the surface, and I became accountable, man. But then I walked in and I was screaming, and it was this young lady in here doing her work. I think she's like an astrophysicist or something like that. I'm adding on to the story. She's not. But she's doing her work. She's typing, she's going on. And I'm just screaming. And Tim's staring at me. I'm like, Tim, why are you not entertained? I said, are you not entertained? And Tim looked at me and said, bro, somebody write that study. I was so embarrassed. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. What the DJ Khaled thing at? I played myself. So I was embarrassed, and I apologized profusely. So I went home, had to brush my teeth again because I don't want to be on camera, in front of people with my breath stinking. So had to go to CVS to get some more because I ran out. There's a lot of information that y'all didn't even ask for, but I'm just going to tell you anyway. So I came back here. I'm still excited, still filled up, still with a lot of energy, still, feeling good, looking good, thinking that, man, I'm walking up right, man. I'm fathering, man, fathering. I'm being the best version of myself. I'm starting to get back to myself. So, and then I get back in here, and the young lady's still sitting here, and I didn't know if we was going to do the podcast in here because I didn't want to interrupt her. I thought that would be rude. I do have a modicum of respect. I'm somewhat dignified. So I asked her, was it okay for us to stay in here and do this podcast? And she said, it's okay. So then I began to just tell her who I am, unprompted. She didn't even ask me. She was like, this nigga probably crazy. I'm just telling her all about the mission because I'm so excited about the deep surface, man. I'm going to tell everybody about it. This is a movement, man. This ain't no podcast. This is a movement. We transcending husbands and fathers. We doing all of that, man. Black man going to win, man. I'm telling you. So I'm talking to this young lady, and I'm a gentleman, my God. I'm from the South. I'm from the South, not South. So we say yes, ma'am. We say no, sir. We respect women. We respect women. We're not coming off on that. We respect women. We not having no more conversations about women. There will be a standard. We will respect women. Period. Pause that. So I'm talking to the young lady, Jog. And I say, hey, what's your name? And get what she said, y'all. Her name Favor. Come on, man. Her name Favor. Her real name Favor, man. You can't tell me, man, when you not just walking right, bro. When you living righteous. Have my situation changed? Absolutely not. Have I gotten what I wanted? No, but I got what I needed, Jog. I got what I needed, man. But let me introduce my guest, man, because he's never been up here. He's never been up here. I want to introduce this guy, man. This is one of my best friends in the entire world, man. This platform is now an open platform. This belongs to the people, man. Everybody get the God. Everybody get to lead everybody to the promised land, man. Everybody experience is important, Tim. One man can't lead us. One soul, one spirit, one perspective can't lead us. So I want to introduce my guy, Joggy, man. Me and Jogs have always been friends, but we will talk occasionally, man. But now during this season, God, again, he merged us together through tragedy and pain and suffering. And, I want to say thank you, brother. I would not have made it to this side without you. Sometimes you let me call you, right? You let me just call you and talk. You just let me, like I'm doing now, you just let me talk and let me vent and let me get my frustration out. You know what I mean? You help me maintain my integrity. That's real. Because just sometimes listening, I was losing my mind. Sometimes I would call Jog. Jog, my kids look at Jog. He's Uncle Jog to my kids. Man, Jog would go with me to Chuck E. Cheese. You don't understand. That's what this podcast is about. Men supporting men. Us being there in the midst of our trouble. I would not have made it. That day in Chuck E. Cheese, I was so depressed. I promise you, that day I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because let me say something. When you're parenting kids, you cannot be selfish. It is not about you. It ain't about you. It ain't about how you feel. They didn't ask to be here. That's why we raise our level, man. We're involved with the children. We take the children. There is no such thing as not being in our children's lives no more. That's the standard. And if you got a father that's not in his kid's life, then if you know him, you go to that man. You encourage that man. You tell him, go take to them kids. We ain't having fatherless kids out here no more, man. That's over with. You better not come talk to me. I'm telling you right now, you better blank this. I'm going to punch you in your face if you ain't taking care of your kids. Nigga, I lost everything. I could have walked away. What you talking about? I got 4 girls. There ain't no excuses. Our kids deserve us. Man, I grew up fatherless. Let me tell you something. It has taken me 40 years. What should have taken me 20? I'm finally becoming a man. I'm finally understanding what accountability is. It ain't because my mama didn't do a good job. That ain't the reason. That ain't the reason. It's because that you need that lifeline. You need a lifeline. If you don't have a lifeline, I'm telling you, it's unfair, but it's just the reality of life. And speaking of lifeline, man, I invited Jog on the show because, recently Jog, regrettably, we talked about his father on the last show. So that's what some of y'all heard me talk about Jogging, being a part of our circle and our brother, man. And your father transitioned recently. And I just kind of wanted to give you I know I did a lot of talking, but I want you to kind of express yourself, man. I know when you was at the service, things were pretty emotional for you. I can understand that. And thank God we got technology. Thank God you can now properly, give your father something that can last for the eternity. He can hear it. So I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna give you the floor, my guy. Go ahead.
Nah, man, I definitely appreciate you out, having me. But I'm always here. I'm just behind the cameras, but
absolutely you are.
I'm always here. But nah, definitely just getting to sit here and just talk like we always talk.
Absolutely.
On the phone, in person. Just kind of go based off what you said earlier. How you were talking about the young lady over there favoring everything's coming full circle. And remember, I don't remember that day I was helping you move.
Yeah.
And you remember, I literally just caught my eye. I looked at the pamphlet. I said, "Is this your the pamphlet from your dad's service?" I looked at the date and I said,
"Oh shoot!"
I said, "Steve, September 11, 1990." I said, "Steve, that's the day I was born."
Oh!
And he was like, "Yo,
look at that! Boy, I'm telling you, my daddy here, man. I'm telling you. I'm sorry about screaming, Favor. Favor, listen, I'm sorry, Favor. Favor, 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 la, la. I'm sorry, I ain't gonna call your government name out. I promise I ain't gonna say it no more, Favor, but go ahead, Job.
But nah, man, I just feel like you said, that's God's work. That's everything coming full circle because it was a reason we became close. It was a reason for everything, you know what I mean? Especially, going through a rough time. Obviously, I know this year was a long year for me too.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't know. They said it during the service, but a lot of people don't know. I lost an uncle and an aunt before this, which is my dad's sister and his brother.
This year?
This year. So I lost all 3 of them in a 6-month time span. A lot of people don't even know that.
Shh.
So, dealing with that. And a lot of people don't know. Obviously, I was going through depression, anxiety at the beginning of the year. A lot of people don't even know, besides maybe you and a couple of people know, it was bad.
Absolutely.
I mean, super bad, like to the point where you remember, I was
you had to pull out of work. You had to pull out of work.
2 months.
That's another thing.
It was bad.
Wow.
So, Saturday was hard for me. It was definitely hard. Like you said, we were talking earlier, I feel like I lost a lifeline.
Wow.
Somebody I confide in day out. I mean, obviously I can confide in other people like you guys, but it's different when it's a father and a son.
Absolutely.
Somebody that's been there 33 years of my life. And just, I wanted to, say my words for him, my tribute. But when I got up there, started talking about him, started talking about the type of person he was, I was looking in the seats, just looking at everybody. I seen people I haven't seen since I was probably 8 years old in the seats. I've seen my old neighbor when we moved into our house in '97 was there. Him and his parents were there.
Wow.
Just the people, so the support and the respect he had. Just people I grew up with, man. Like I said, I had, some of my closest friends. One of my friends was in Vegas. I told him 2 days prior what time and everything was going to be. He called, next flight was there that morning and came straight there. Had another friend came straight from D.C. I told him the night before. He came straight from D.C., drove.
Wow.
So it was very emotional for me. Like I said, man, just seeing all the people that respect him. It was things I learned that he did for people that I didn't even know. And it just, it hurt me because it was like, man, like I came to realization my lifeline is gone. Yeah, man.
What did your, what kind of father did you have? Like what are some of the greatest lessons that you learned from your father?
I mean, he was doing, as every great father would do, doing a typical thing, but my dad always thought ahead.
Analytical.
Things like, I don't know if I know you were watching, but, they were talking about how he used to, obviously back in the 90s before Uber and everything like that, he used to be part owner in a cab company in Raleigh.
He was?
He was.
Guess who owned the cab company?
Oh.
My dad. I'm telling you, man, look at this. My dad owned the cab company.
I didn't know that.
Tell me, I told y'all.
I did not know that.
Man, I'm telling you, man, that's God. Man, this is what it is, man. This is what God comes into authenticity, man. Like, wow. But go ahead, I ain't gonna interrupt your story. Go ahead.
Good. So, I mean, just certain things, man. Like, especially when you're young, obviously when we're young, we don't see it. Parents gonna see it, but we don't see it. I mean, just even at a young age, he used to, when I was off of school in the summers, he would take me with him to work, and I'd be like, me as a kid, I'm like, man, I don't want to be here, man. I'm trying to go back home and go play with my friends. Like, why am I coming? Like, why are you forced? He wasn't forcing me, but he was. Because, like, I ain't about to leave you home alone. And you know what I mean? Because my brother always wanted to go anyway. Because he would drop my brother off at the library. He go do whatever he does. So my dad would just have me there in the office. And he said, I know. He just, like, showing me stuff here and there. And he's like, he's having me just, like, sign and write numbers and stuff. And me, I'm 8, 9 years old. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But he's like, he's showing me what to do. And then it became a thing to where, like, I started coming in every day and doing it, and then before I know, I'm sitting there like, he's like, oh yeah, you're balancing the checkbooks for the company. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, hold on.
Wow.
I was like, wait. so you mean to tell me if something goes wrong, it's on me? He said, basically. So I mean, I learned how to balance a checkbook at 8 or 9 years old.
That's crazy.
For a company.
Because you have a father, which allows you to budget now.
Exactly.
That is.
So he taught me things at an early age. Just simple things like, simple things we do, changing tires, things like that. He taught me how to change a tire when I was 11.
You know how I learned to change a tire? On YouTube.
See, this is before YouTube and everything.
Yeah, so that tells you.
So the way my dad taught me was it was a flat tire. Obviously, he could change it within 3-5 minutes. But he said, because I think I had like basketball practice or something like that. He said, you want to go, you got to come out here and change this tire. So I'm like, I thought he was playing. He was like, no, like seriously. He's like, I'm going to show you how to do it, but you're going to do it. Showed me how to do it. Never had an issue then since. My dad used to do like things a lot of fathers didn't even do, like, because as a father, you think fathers are supposed to do all the hard work and things like that. But my dad he taught me how to garden. He taught me how to grow vegetables and fruits, plant seeds.
That's crazy.
And I'm obviously, like, again, I'm sitting here like 12, 13 years old. I'm like, man, I'm trying to go next door and play with my neighbor. I'm like, man, you got me out here trying to plant seeds in the ground and telling me how to garden. I don't care about this.
Trying to hoop.
Like, why do I care about this? And he was like, you never know. He said, what if everything in the world goes? What are you going to do?
That's a fact.
Survive?
That's a fact.
So
I guarantee we ain't got men like that no more.
I don't even know it.
Yeah.
Just little things, man. He taught me he had me help him set up a full sprinkler system in the yard around the whole house. At this point, I feel like I can go get a job doing that right now if I wanted to.
He gave you a skill set.
He did, man. It was a lot of things, like I said, discombobulating. And I was telling you the other day, obviously, like, when in the early stages before people couldn't get on their phones and Google stuff, I used to call my dad and ask him for everything. Hey, Dad, how do I do this? Or can you guide me in the right way to do this? Or how much does this cost? And how much do you think I can get for this and this? And like I say, even until his passing, he was still even helping me. Even when he's in the hospital, you know, he had a tracheotomy, so he couldn't even really speak. He knew I was, obviously, like a lot of people don't know, I'm starting different business ventures and stuff. He's sitting there asking me, how's it going? He's like, oh, did you do this and this? Still checking up on me. Like, he can't really talk, so he's writing on a whiteboard saying all this stuff.
Even unto man, wow.
Even in the
still
bed.
giving you, man, that is unbelievable.
And like I said, he's I've never seen him, like you heard, Tim, I'm pretty sure you heard too. Nobody's ever seen him angry. He's always smiling, joking. I've never seen him debate, argue with anybody. I've never seen any of that from him. I mean, obviously, only time I've seen him get mad is like me and my brother, like when we were young and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm talking about just in general with everybody he touched or talked to. He was always joyful. He was always happy. You would never see him mad. Even when he was mad, you never see it. Never. Even when his mom passed, I didn't see him sad until I think the day that he learned like she was finally gone. That was when I could tell in his face he was sad, but it wasn't still a lot of, you know, that's where I get it from.
Yeah, because you
show a lot of emotion.
You
like
stoic.
That.
Yeah.
So, you know, just things like that. And then, man, I don't even know, man. I don't know. It's so much, man. It's so much I could say.
How's your mom? How's she's doing? How's she doing?
My mom.
Let me ask a better question, a more in depth question. How was the impact of you seeing them together? Through those, how was that for you growing up watching two parents, watching them interact, and what did that make you feel about your father?
For me, because my dad was doing it from day one. He was leading from day one. And you know, normally it's the mother or the wife is the one that's usually helping the family get ready and stuff like that and get the day started and stuff like that. It was vice versa for us. So my mom, she's a nurse, so she was working, back then was working like 2 jobs. So she was working 12-hour shifts. Like, I'm talking about we barely even seeing her. So my dad's the one who's getting up in the morning, getting me and my brother ready for school, waking us up, making us meals, and at the same time, getting my mom's meals and stuff ready, ironing her clothes and stuff like that, while doing all this before he goes to work at the cab company where he was at. So he's doing all this, still coming back home and doing the same thing over again. All over again.
God, that he was already evolved at that age. He knew, which is why your mom stayed by his side. That's a testament for the sacrifices that he made. Absolutely. And probably the reason you didn't see it because he put his will to serve his family over his feelings. And what God does when a man does that, he sustains him. He gives him abundance. He gives him a garden, ironically. You know what I mean? And now, like, that's why I talked about when you see it, like your father died a glorious death. That's what men should ascribe to hear their sons on camera telling the world that this is what he did, and it was the simple things. He never probably thought that you would be telling people this, because one day millions gonna see this. One day people are gonna see this, and they're gonna inspire them to be a part of their family's life. I can imagine it was hard for your dad. Yeah, there were days that he wanted to give up, and there are days that he wanted to quit. Because this been a hard year for you. Yeah, you know what I mean. This has been a hard year for you. What are some of the things that you're going to take with you during this hard time that he instilled in you spiritually, that you remember, that's going to help take you through, because you can deliver yourself now, right, you know, by talking about it and really thinking about what did my dad put inside of me. Go ahead.
Just, I mean, it's a lot, man, but the ones, you know, that really stand out is just his selflessness. And I mean, like I said, I don't know if you watched the whole service, but that's the main thing everybody was talking about.
Everybody said that.
That's one word I heard everybody literally said, his selflessness. And like I said, even up until while he's in the bed, man, like I said, I remember, like I said, obviously I was going up there, you know, I was going up there almost every weekend, even sometimes during the week. Absolutely. And there was times.
And you had other things in your mind too.
Yes.
I mean, heavy things too. Absolutely. Heavy things. Absolutely. Go ahead. Them things were heavy. Them things were heavy.
You know, and there was this one specific night we were there, and I remember this is like when I think he was under like a whole bunch of antibiotics and meds and stuff like that. So he was like he couldn't really respond, but his eyes were open. He can, nod his head and stuff like that. He can move his hands a little bit. I'm sorry, excuse me. It was the next morning. I remember I was getting ready to come back to Charlotte. So obviously, every time when I leave, I pray with my dad. Pray with my dad when I get there, even when I'm leaving. So when I'm leaving, we're getting ready to pray, right? But it's, ironically, at the same time, the nurse was a guy that came in. It was a nurse. I guess it was just a shift. He was coming in to I think like put more what is it called, like into his IV, like antibiotic or something. Like that. And he noticed that we were about to pray. And he was like, the nurse was like, oh, excuse me. He's like, I can come back later. My dad's like, he's not saying things. So the guy's walking out. My dad's like tapping on the bed. And I'm looking at him, and he's pointing at the nurse. I said, oh, I think he needs something. And my dad's going like this. And he's like, what does that mean? I said, I think he wants you to stay and pray with us.
Wow.
My dad was like, he shook his head, yeah. So I sat there, I prayed. Like I said, I didn't know the nurse like that. Besides from the couple of days I'd seen him during his shifts. Obviously, but I prayed for him because I knew that's what my dad would have wanted. That's why he wanted him to stay. And that's why I say, man, God works in mysterious ways.
He does,
because,
man.
Listen, when I left the room, the nurse had already left, right? He went back out to his station out there in the little front. I walked by as I was leaving. He stopped me and said, man, I'm not a very religious person, but I just want to thank you for that prayer. I've actually been having a rough week.
Wow.
And, that kind of helped me, and it's kind of helping me pull through at this point. He said, I just want to thank you. I'm not going to tell your dad thank you, but I just want to tell you because, you're the one that said the prayer, but he said, I just want to thank you for that. So it's like my dad can see stuff. He's a very observant person, so he must have, obviously it's a nurse, so my dad's watching him come in and out. He could tell by his actions, his mood changes and everything.
And so by that time, what people don't know is when you're transitioning, you're in between worlds.
Right.
Yeah. So he was feeling more than his sensory experience was happening. So more than him touching, he was more in the spiritual, whatever he was going, versus in this reality. So he probably felt the pain on the dude, right? Because he was transcending his body. And then, like, you got to think about this, Jog. The father, you're gonna be blessed, bro. Like, your life is about to be blessed now, and it ain't talking. You about to live in abundance now. Your father did his job. You and your brother about to live in abundance. Your mom gonna live in abundance now because God favors a man like that. That man was faithful unto death. That's what I'm trying to get the man to see. Families, it's just about family. Everything, family should be the foundation, and everything springs from that. But we're so far from the ingredients of having healthy families in our community that we got to just preach family, man, and tell these type of stories right here that hit home, that a father you got to eulogize your father. You got to send him home the right way and talk about what he meant to you. You got to experience him. But see, now what that does is, now, although you're going through things, once you do get married, you had a blueprint. Exactly. So now you won't get married being a fatherless person, screwing it up. And listen, sometimes life is just like, it ain't fair, bro. It ain't fair that I ain't get what I ain't get. It's just what it is. It ain't no excuses. So now you get to go into a marriage knowing what to do, skill set and knowing what to do. And the skill set is, it is what it is. That means you just say, okay. Listen, married man, say okay. Your best thing to do is say okay, buddy. You ain't gonna win. So, but you're equipped now because of your father, and that's the art of family, man. That's what this deep surface experience is about tonight, is the art of family and how it works, and once you ingratiate yourself ingratiate yourself in your family and what your family means to you, and all the benefits that come, man. I'll say this. I was I was feeling my way through being a father. I didn't really know how to do it. I didn't really know what it took, man. My wife taught me the things on what it took to be a father. Absolutely. Like every day. I understood why my wife was frustrated with me. I get it now. I understand how much it takes to really be a part of your kid's life. I'm not just be there. We have to evolve past we seen our dad is kind of sitting down on the couch sometimes. Your dad is an anomaly, but some of our uncles sometimes sat down and just let the women do all the things. No, we're in a different time frame now. We do everything now. Everything she does, we do. We're equals. I don't care that we peddling this old stuff. Our women can do everything we can do. Everything we can do. And that's our glory, Jog. The art of the family. The woman is the glory of the family. When you don't treat a woman right, God will hinder your prayers. Guys, I'm telling you, you better listen to your boy. Man, I'm talking about, I was praying, that jump just hitting the ceiling. Bow. I'm talking about my prayers didn't even make it out of the door, y'all. I'm talking about God ain't even say nothing. Nothing. Because the art of the family is to always be in position and be in posture and to make sure that the family's first, man. And your dad did that. The art of the family, learning the nuances, Jog, of family. Look at all the lessons that you did when your dad was alive. Let me ask you a question. When your dad was alive, all these stories probably was just somewhere stored in your subconscious, way back there. Probably would have never talked about it again. But since your dad has passed away, has his memory, like when we left his body, did his memory just kind of hover over and just start replaying in your mind?
Yep, absolutely. And that's why I say he gave me 33 years of a blueprint on how to lead, how to be a father, how to be a husband. And like I said, I don't know where I would be without having a father in my life. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think I'd be sitting here right now.
Wow. Is there anything else you want to say? You know what I mean? Do you? Because it's your floor, man.
A lot, man. It's a lot. Like I said, I'm still
processing. Yeah, and we can. And listen, Jog, it's always an open chair here, man.
Like I said, I mean, it's, and I've had numerous of people tell me. You told me. I mean, I'm pretty sure Tim saw it firsthand. He observed it. It's nobody's ever seen me like that. Y'all know I'm a very emotionless person. Nobody's ever seen me like that.
Stoic. You and Tim. I don't know who the quietest. You and Tim. I don't even know how y'all ride together. I don't even know how y'all friends. What do y'all talk about? I'll be like, what do y'all talk about? Y'all, neither one of y'all talk, but go ahead.
Yeah, man. It like I said, that's when it hit me. Like when I was talking, it really hit me. And that's just emotion from what was happening in the present, stuff that was going on through the year. I think it was just, depression, anxiety, all that stuff, people passing, people close to me leaving my life.
Wow.
It was all, I think, just bottled up, and it all just came out at once. I think that obviously him passing was like
the cherry on top. Yeah. And that was to give you perspective. And sometimes we can get so deep in the hole, but death brings perspective to every job. When you seen that casket, when you seen, I know that feeling. That is the most, it's like the same feeling of birth, but the opposite. It's the same. It's so euphoric. It's unbelievable. And when I was watching you up there, I knew the moment that you realized. I think all the culmination of everything, the realization of he's not coming back. So, but let me be clear about the grief process too as well. I don't want to glorify this either. Well, I know we're having a good conversation, but this is what we need to know the whole picture. There will be a grieving process.
Yeah.
And go through that properly, because here's the thing, he's not coming back.
Right.
You got to know that, and you can't stop. He's not coming back. You got to be strong for your mom now. You got to honor you step into that role now, and you do what your dad would do in every single situation. We don't leave our families. I know you're not going to do that, but I'm just saying,
right.
It's going to be, you're going to have some difficult days. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Your dad would not want you to do that. That is not what men do. What we do is carry on the sword. Our mission is to die the way he did, with that type of honor and dignity. That's what I do. That's how you die. I don't want to make it sound like that, but now you go through all the stages: anger, denial, because it's fresh for you. You know what I mean? It's like people around you. You're on a podcast, but when you get by yourself is when the real work gonna start, because this is your lifeline. It doesn't matter how old you get. It doesn't matter. The older I get, the worse it gets for me and my father. Just because some of the things that I would need him for, he's not here.
Right.
And so, but we got you. We your community. We're gonna be right here. I'm telling you, every day. I'm talking about we gonna make sure that this is an ongoing battle. Life don't stop, but you gotta participate in your own rescue. We gotta start being together now. Doing business together, making each other's lives more manageable. That's what we talk about, man. Like, this is why I want us to get back in position and take our place as the ruling class. Black men, We are now, the first shall be the last and the last shall be the first. Now there's a paradigm shift. The black man, God is clearing character out in that job so the black man can take his place as the ruling class. That's why stuff like any unclean thing has to get out. That's why they're cheating on your girl, cheating on your wife, doing sneaky stuff, gang banging, shooting, killing each other. God about to wipe all of that out. See, we got to know that God's sending people right now to say it's over with. It's over with. Either you get right or it's over with. Because here's the job of a man. His natural, his glorious thing is to protect women and children. And we have gotten so disrespectful towards our women. Let's be honest, right? Let's tell the truth right here, Jog. Listen, them grandmas, Jog, our grandmas, they don't like our granddaddies because they used to go upside their head. Come on, man. And then when they went upside our grandma's head, Tim, guess what happened? They raised a generation of women that resented men and unfair. Now, was it that did the black men have it rough out there? Yes, we did. We came back and took it out on our wives. Was it fair to us? No, but it's still our responsibility. Now it's our responsibility to make sure we stand a strong tower and mend the hearts of our women by our actions. By the way we conduct ourselves in business, by taking this unnecessary pressure off them. We can provide. Go back and get an education. Get in school. Educate yourself. There is no reason. We got gangsters coming out of the prison, getting on the internet and making money. You can make money. I'm talking to all of us. I'm talking about to take care of our women. What are we here for? Who are we gonna protect if we're not protecting our women? You niggas, bruh. You niggas are. You niggas. If I see you niggas talking about a woman around me, because now one of you niggas can't out-talk me. I'm intellectual. I study philosophical all day long. I read the writings of Marcus Aurelius. I study the Bible. You can't talk with me. I do this for fun. We gonna treat women right. We gonna treat women right. We ain't doing this no more. Absolutely not. Listen, that's why I ain't talking about nobody else. I'm just telling you, listen. The goal of this podcast is we won't be fatherless. We're going to end that. This is a revolution. The Deep Surface Experience, this is a revolution where men get back into position. That's what happened for me when I was gone those 8 months. God was I was just wrestling, Jog, with God. You was there, Jog. I ain't lying. I was wrestling. I would talk to him every day. I was searching for the answer every day. I was questioning God. I was denying God. I was doing anything. I was being disrespectful. One day I was riding down the road to him from work. I was so frustrated. I was so in my feelings. I felt like I wasn't gonna make it. I took a gob of spit and just spit on my window and said, yeah, I did that, man. It was really like that. You gotta bleep that out though, Tim. I don't know. That's a strong code word. I don't know if I can say that one. You know what I mean? But I'm serious, man. You seen where I was. Man, I'm proud to be. Man, listen, I can work at Burger King, brother. Listen, y'all can't fool. Listen, money ain't our God no more, man. They ain't gonna get us. We ain't gonna love their wealth and hate ourselves. We don't need we need each other. I was gonna cuss again, but I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But men, listen, men. I'm not coming off of this. And in the meantime, I'm holding myself accountable. I'm just only saying this stuff because I gotta hold me accountable. Every single day, I got 4 girls. Do you think listen, I asked somebody one time, Job, would you punch yourself in a fight? No, you wouldn't. So why would I raise 4 girls and get up here and talk about women like a fool? I already know what women are. I know women are emotional. I know women are irrational. I know that. They know that too. They don't care and they don't need to care. Here it is, Jock. Life is hard for men, but it's simple. Life is easy for women, but it's complex. I'll give you an example. They ease our hard by their easy. And we ease their complexity by saying, baby, it's okay. It's okay. You ain't got to go crazy over that. It's fine. We're the emotionally stable person right there. That's what we're supposed to be for each other. That's the yin and that's the yang. So we need each other. So all this crap, all these stereotypes, all these women like this, all these women like that is done. Now it's just us to be good men. That doesn't mean that we be simps. This ain't simp talk. No. This ain't simp talk. We ain't catering to nobody. In fact, we're not even looking. All we looking at is God. I don't see nothing but God. Women don't look up to men. Women look up to men. They admire. Am I right, Jog? Once my wife lost respect for me, it was over, my guy. It was over. Once she lost respect, it was over. You got nothing else for a woman once she loses respect. That's the number one thing that a woman will keep going over and over and doing everything for you because she still admires you. Our women don't admire us no more because we won't take responsibility and say why they so angry is because of us. Why they out here getting BBLs and getting fake bodies is because of us. Why they shaking their behind on the internet is because of us. And we keep buying it. We won't call it out. Other women have to call other women out, but men we won't call each other out. If your man sending that text, talk to him. Because you don't understand. We're only bringing destruction onto ourselves. There's a way that's right unto man, but the end thereof, there's destruction. You may get away with it for a little while, but you ain't going to get away with it further. We will treat our women correctly. I ain't nobody preacher. I ain't your accountability partner. I ain't none of that. You're a man. You know what to do. Every man do. And my job, we know what to do.
Right.
We got information. Everybody got an iPhone. Everybody got a reason. I ain't telling you to go out and make $1 million. I'm not selling you no money. I ain't telling you to go get another LLC. We don't need another business. We need men who stand up for the right thing when nobody's looking. That's what we need. That's what I had to get to because I was sneaky. I was deceptive, but I was getting up talking. That's why I couldn't talk like this. That's why I couldn't be myself. That's why I couldn't hold myself accountable because I was fake. I wasn't real. I wasn't telling the truth. And the evidence is when I lost my family. That was the evidence of I wasn't the man I was supposed to be. I kept making excuses. But I'm still alone. You know? I'm telling you, life is beautiful, man. Life is always going to be hard, Jog. You're going to have families, ups and downs with your family. You're going to have ins and outs and turns with your family. All of those things are going to be true. But if men stay around, Jog, if we endure, if we stay around, I promise you, our wives will see us. Even if I never get what I want back, Jog, guess what? I'm still going to stand like a strong tower and take care of my wife and children. I don't care if she's with somebody else. I don't care. I'm going to do the responsibility because I caused this. If anything goes wrong, I delivered her there. If I was doing the right thing, I wouldn't have this problem. But I do have this problem now. See what I'm talking about, man? Total and complete accountability. So before we go, Tim, Leandra Johnson, she sings a song. Tim, if I play the song, is it a copyright issue? Okay, I ain't gonna play it. So she's saying, better days are coming. So that song called Better Days, Leandra Johnson, one of the greatest voices of all time. So I listened to that song probably over this last 8 months, probably 20 times a day, Job, every day. And I would listen to it most times, just be boohooing. And I was talking about just boohooing in the car, mad. But the more and more I kept listening to it, repetition is the father of learning, correct? Correct. And psychologically, it started to get into my head because I kept listening to it over and over again, that better days are coming. Man, listen, bro. Better days have got here. We'll see you guys. Subscribe to the Deep Surface Podcast. We Outington, McOutington. Hold on for a sec, bro. We never stop it. Hold on for a sec. Hold on. Go ahead, John want to do his closing salvo. Go ahead.
I was just following up with what you said. You know, if anything my dad taught me and left me was what you said. Respect your wife, respect your mother, and of course respect your children. Because if I go and disrespect my wife, my children will see that.
Absolutely.
And they're gonna take that, and it's gonna be stuck in their mind.
Absolutely.
And they think it's okay. So in the day, I mean, it starts with the dad, the father, the leader.
Absolutely. Setting the tone, man. Setting the tone. We set the tone. We're not looking for credit. You know what I mean? We get that from God. Your dad getting all, I believe it. I don't know what heaven is or what the concept is, but I do believe that I just believe him, and I don't think this belief will ever be dissolved from my intellect. In my intellect, is that I think he's being rewarded for the suffering that nobody's seen. A lot of people don't see the suffering that men silently have, the silent screams when you can't ask because people expect you to be a certain way because you're not on the right timeline. So imagine all the days he wanted to not have your mom working 12 hours. That probably weighed on him. He probably didn't want your mom to work, but life happens, right? And thank God for the woman. Thank God for your mom. We don't know how much our women have saved us from total and complete destruction. And now it's our duty right now to relieve our women and get back into position so we can get our families back, so we can get our women taking care of our children the right way, so they're not left to daycares and they're not left to everybody else. Right. They can be in a comfortable space with their mom, and then all of our women are educated, so they're gonna have businesses at home. You see what I'm saying, Jock? You see how the abundance happened. So, kudos to you, my guy. I guess this is the second closing, ain't it? Kind of like the second coming. You can call it second closing, whatever it is.
I'm gonna close it out.
Go ahead and close it out, my guy. It's your pod, my guy. Close it out.
Nah, if anything,
get the focus on him, Tim.
Anything, it's gonna be a process to heal, to grieve. But I know the way I look at it is, I know he's in peace right now. Yeah. He was suffering. He was in pain for almost a whole year, you could say, since March. Even though he would never show it, he would never let anybody see it. The way I look at it is, I know, there'll be a lot of things in life that I'll be probably upset about that he couldn't get to see, like maybe like me getting married or something like that. But obviously he wouldn't be able to do that in the bed in the condition he was in. But now I know he's up there, he's looking at me, he has a front row seat to my life.
Absolutely.
So
come on, man.
I'm just leave it at that. I know he's watching this, so Dad, I love you.